Whoa, my God. I was looking at my notes. Good morning. Good afternoon. Yes, it's definitely good morning. Fresh out of bed. Michael John here. No, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you, wherever you are in this great big world. We're coming to you live from the static planet known as Windsor, Ontario. My name, of course, is Michael John of Michael John's Paranormal Ghost Stories. I'm repping Buffalo Phantom Hunters out of Buffalo, New York. Our boy, Frank Kupka, #1. Next to me, oh my God, next to me, repping Timothy Shaw's Black Cat Lounge barbecue joint and gym nowadays, ladies and gentlemen. The man of the hour, the man of the power, too sweet to be sour, my man, Dale, High Spirits, Quigley. Together, who are we? This is who we are. We are the voice of the paranormal, the voice for the paranormal, Windsor, Ontario's own, the Paranormal Voice, proudly the Paranormal Voice. And oh my God, Dale, we got a hell of a show, a hell of a guest. We were backstage talking to them. I'm fired up already. I didn't even have any apple cider vinegar. I had my cold shower, of course. You know I did. I had one of the cats in there. Now I'm all scratched up because apparently they don't like water. But lesson learned. Did anybody know that cats don't like water? You know now. Anyways, Dale, what a life. Life is good. Hashtag blessed, thankful, grateful, humble. We have a lot of awesome things coming up this year in 2024. Yes, Jenny, I'm sorry I missed you guys. Very sorry for that. You guys had an amazing show. You and Russ, you guys brought it along with Dale. You had some great stories about sorry, I'm getting overwhelmed here. We got a lot of people popping in here. I also have, I want to say hi to everybody. Jennifer Lindsay Palmer, of course. Good evening, lovely lady. Tim Shaw, we were just talking about you. Black Cat Lounge, gym and barbecue joint, Tim Shaw. Tim, my man, mentor and friend, love this guy to bits. Sam's pretty paranormal. Aye, all right, I'll give you one of those. Tim Shaw, Dale, great shirt, of course. Someone's saying hi, guys. I can't see who it is. Hello, guys, another one. Say your name there. We can't always see who you are, but we appreciate all of you from day one to day now. The TPV Nation, Dale, the creeps, the freaks, and the weirdos. That's how we get to do what we do right here, right now. Lunker, yes, sir, brother. Lunkers forever. All right, Dale, I've bantered on enough. I've said my stuff long enough. Topping my gums. You know what I mean? Like, okay, Mike John, shut the F up. Here we go. Banter with Richie B. We're interviewing him. Why is he on the side? What's happening here? Oh my God, that's crazy. There's two of them. There's two of them. Oh my God, Dale, go
there's Richie B's everywhere. Watch out, folks. It's like their own clan coming at us. Anyways, no, but we definitely got a lot of exciting things that are happening. First up, coming up in March, we are going to be a part of Potograph for Pooches right up there in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Can't wait to get up there. Tim Malley, what an amazing gentleman and what an amazing event. We can't wait to get there and be around our para peeps. It's like the kickoff season to the Paracon season. So anybody who's in the Michigan area or close by, I don't care how you get there, just get your tickets and get there because it's going to be an absolutely amazing event. And we've got some other things that are brewing that we are not going to talk about at the moment, but I'll tell you folks, stay tuned. Stay tuned because this train, you haven't seen nothing yet. That is for sure. But what is for sure, we will making our speaking debut appearance at the Lake Superior Paracon coming this October 4th and 5th up there in Thunder Bay, Ontario. Tickets go on sale in just about 10 days from now. So guys, so if you live anywhere close to Thunder Bay, Ontario, or if you're looking to support an amazing event, this is the first annual event. So come on, let's show the ladies from Lucky Paranormal some love. Let's get out there. Let's support another amazing place that all us para family could meet up and hang out sometime.
Couple guests they have there. They're going to have the one and only Jeff Belanger. Who else?
Shane Pittman.
Oh my God, name a couple.
Yes. Yeah, that's and I mean they're still announcing names, so yeah, it's going to be absolutely crazy. But
oh yeah, they're really hitting it out of the park for their first one. They're really hitting out of the park. Mel and Gail, looking forward to it, and they got a clue. Lucky Paranormal, like you said, those girls. You know what? They got the paranormal passion, and you always see the passion in people. If they're into the paranormal like they say they are, they don't need to say they are because it shows, and they certainly walk it. They don't talk it.
absolutely, yeah, it's going to be a fun time. But we are. Yeah, we are. Like I said, first up. Potograph for Pooches. That is March 8th and 9th up in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So come on, just go over to photographsforpooches.com and get your tickets. Check it all out. It is going to be an amazing event. So, with that being said, Michael John, let's get this guy out here because I've been waiting for this show. This guy is amazing. I can tell you that much.
Amazing. You know what? There's so many awesome people in the paranormal realms, and another guy, Dale is my Google, ladies and gentlemen. He is my Google for the paranormal because he'll be like, did you see this show? Or did you see this person? No. What are they about? Oh, well, ABCD 1, 2, 3. It's like, oh my God. You know what I mean? He's like he'll tell you everything about him in 5 minutes. I don't know how you do it, but that's a whole other show for sure. But you know what? Again, thank you for finding such an amazing guest. We had a chance to chat with them backstage before we aired tonight, and man, I had to write down stuff because my memory's good but short. 3 concussions and just life happens. I'm 51. I'm old. I forget stuff. I got that short-term memory, and that's okay, folks. I'm not complaining. I'm explaining, like I like to say. So I wrote down some notes as I was talking to this fine gentleman. But you know what, man? This guy, he's close to a decade. Number one, he's a Bigfoot enthusiast, but we got to talk, and he's not afraid of the other paranormal realms. So we're going to hit a few things. Very interesting guy, host of YouTube Banter with Richie B. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest tonight, the one and only Bigfoot enthusiast, Mr. Richie B.
Hey,
in there.
What's happening?
What's going on?
I looked to the right and I'm like, alphabet soup? And then I looked to the left like, oh, no, never mind. Okay. I was just checking. How'd you feel, Michael John, about him being on my alphabet soup episode?
Alphabet soup episode? No, I did not.
You're going to get us in trouble, Dale. He sees that. We're in trouble.
Why?
That's okay.
That's what I'm watching right after this.
We know nothing. You see nothing. You hear nothing. You know nothing.
Do you think I wasn't going to come in here swinging at you? Come on now.
Oh my God.
What's up, boys? Right, Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I love it. Good stuff.
Richie, it is so great to finally be able to sit down and talk with you. That's right, folks. I was on Richie's show called Alphabet Soup, and that was such a great time. And I think Richie has got the charisma that in being around this guy, you can't help but smile and laugh because I'll tell you, he's got great energy. And Richie, I love your show, Banter with Richie B. You have amazing guests. I love all you and Wojo. My God, you guys could tell. You're like me and Michael John. You guys are definitely brothers for sure.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. No, I'm just stoked to be here. And Alphabet Soup was just something that I had dreamed up in my head, and it just took off on its own. So next time we can have Michael John on and see what he kind of reacts to.
Would love to. I would love to. Anytime, bro. Reach out, please. That sounds fantastic. Be an honor.
That's awesome.
Sure.
Yeah. So Richie, we're gonna kick this all off here. We want to pick your brain, sir. We want to see what's in that noggin of yours. So let's get the scalpel out.
Gonna be a short show.
Oh my God. Oh no, but okay. So what brought you into our paranormal realm? What was it that made you go holy shit? I gotta this is fascinating.
Yeah, sometimes for me, I think it's part of you. You know what I mean? It's always kind of part of you. You know what I mean? So as long as I can remember, I just always had that I've always had the paranormal in my life. And that's where it all started. I was sharing with Michael John before the show is I had a lady walk in my room. I was 7 or 8 years old, and I was scratching, doing this, and my big brother was on the top bunk, and I'm looking up, calling him. He wasn't waking up, and she's walking towards me, and I ran around her as fast as I could to get to my mom and my stepdad, and I'm like, there's a lady in my room. There's a lady in my room. I'm like flipping out, and you're a kid, you know what I mean? So they're like, it's okay. Go back to sleep. It's a bad dream. And then you're like, you kind of believe them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a kid. That's what they're telling you. They're adults. You believe it. You go back to bed, right? Go back in there. Nobody's in there. Get back under my covers. Boom. Next night. The second night, she's still standing where she stood the night before. Like it wasn't even a reapproach. She stood. That's all I remember. I remember that so vividly. That she stood where she stood, and then she kind of leaned forward, and she goes, Richard.
Oh,
like that. And I remember, I remember her hand came on. So I jump up, I do the eye rub, and this time I don't even mess around. I'm like, I'm going around this, that old Fred Flintstone's old, Saturday morning cartoon. I was exit stage left even. You know what I mean? So I take off and I get, mom, the woman's in my room. So she's like, talks me down. She says, my stepdad says to me, Richie, if you don't want somebody in your room, you can just tell them, you know what I mean? So he's trying to appease me as well. Now that I'm an adult, I know that. So I wait a little while, I go back in. Third night, I wake up again in the middle of the night. She's standing right where she was. And this time she quickly takes 2 steps towards me. Oh. She sits on the edge of my bed and she leans forward. She puts her hand, she goes, Richard, everything's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So I jump up. Now I'm freaked out. I'm like, I don't want you here. I'm scared. Like my stepdad taught me, And I remember I was yelling it out. I'm scared. To the point where my mother, this time when I went out, she was already coming down the hall. And I said, she was in my room again, Mom. She knows my name. She knew my name. She touched my hair. And she's like, okay. What does this woman look like? And I said, well, she's like really short, Mama. And she has like a bun in her hair, and she's wearing all black, and it's like a dress that goes down by her knees, but it's not like a real like pretty dress, Mama. It's like a regular, I kept saying regular dress, What I was trying to say, it was like it's made of polyester, yo. You know what I mean? I know that now. And then I was like, and then she wore a pin, and there were ruffly things, and then she walked towards me with a limp. And as I'm saying this, I'm watching my mother's face just drop down to the ground. She's like, she heads right for the phone. Okay. Now, mind you, Michael John mentioned he's 51. I'm 52. Okay. We run to the phone. When you run to the phone together, it's an experience. This is not, hey, push dad. And then you talk to him. I'm running up like, let's call him. Let's call him. And here comes the phone dial.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And you got to do that. Like, oh my God. Right. You're losing it, right? So she gets on the phone. My father, of course, her and my father were divorced. So I'm sitting there waiting for him to answer. Total atheist, my father is. Total atheist, doesn't believe life, death. You go on the ground and that, whatever, that's his thing, right? Not no more, by the way. That's a whole different story. But she says, Richie, she goes, Russ, Richie, I got to tell you something. 3 nights in a row. So she kind of tells him about the couple of previous nights. And I asked him what she looked like. And he just described your mother to a T, right down to the bun in her hair, her limp, and what she was buried in.
Wow.
And I'll never forget the words. And as a matter of fact, when I got a little bit older, I remember going to my mom as a teenager and asking her, you remember that, right? You know what I mean? She's like, oh yeah, Richard, I remember that. And my father remembers it. And that he's since seen apparitions, and his old atheist thing is kind of blown out of the water. And he bought a haunted house up in Maine.
I like that already.
He woke up and some dude was standing in his living room, and he grabbed his gun and put a hole in nothing. I think his wall, maybe. But anyway,
Richie,
this is a family thing. They all know the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she died when my father was 13. We have one black and white picture of her when she was very, very, very young. Almost looked like a little boy back in the day with the little, suspenders and, knickers or whatever they wear. You know what I mean? And I didn't even know who that picture was of. And ever since then, I'm connected to her. I have my son Brooks. His middle name's her last name. I've since found her niece, her sister's daughter. I've sat down with her many times. She finally looked at me one day and says, "I think these belong to you." And she brought me my grandmother's rocking chair and her Bible, and says, "Yeah, you have a connection with your grandmother, and you should enjoy that." So. Yeah, pretty special stuff, man. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, her name was Laura Lee, and my fifth son's name is Joshua Lee. So,
nice.
Yeah, that's how I got introduced to it. And I got to tell you, once you go off and party for a few years and you live your life, and all of a sudden you kind of wake up a little bit again, and you go, I got to find out what the hell that was all about.
Yes,
absolutely.
I love that story. Oh my God!
Thank you.
The message at the end, right, exactly. You land the plane on your life a little bit, you slow it down, and you go, wait a minute, let's check this out, right? I want to ask you, a couple questions about that instance when you saw your grandmother, best you can recall. If you can't, I understand it. A long time ago at this point. Pardon me, excuse me. Did you notice, the traditional questions, I guess, if you will, did you notice the temperature change? Was it cold? Did you feel like, so for me, the odd experiences I've had, there's on occasion it's felt like an electrical storm. You could feel the static in the air. Did you feel any of those things at all, or nothing? Do you recall any of that?
Nothing. It was like a woman was standing in my room, and she broke into my house and was standing there. I've said,
what's that real?
Oh, that, like, I'm looking at you, 100% that real.
Wow.
There wasn't even. I don't even remember transparency. Yeah. I don't remember temperature. And again, like you said, it's a long time ago. I've since being in the mediumship classes and things like that, have learned different things, and I know the exact electric gelatinous feel that you're talking about.
Yes. Okay.
It is startling. And my beautiful fiance upstairs sat there with me one night in my room in a house in Carver, Mass, which is south of Plymouth, where the Pilgrims supposedly discovered the North America, but it's all a big farce. Don't tell anybody I said that. Okay, bye. So when in that house, so we were laying in bed watching a movie, and she says to me, I was waiting for it. She says to me, "Is it get cold in here? It's like cold air right in my face." And I remember laying there, and I go, "Yeah, he's been here for like 10 minutes." And she goes, "No, yeah, we're not. We've been together for a little while at this point, but she doesn't know a lot about my sensitivities,
right?
And she goes, "What?" I said, "Yeah, he's right here." So I knew he approached me. I could, you feel the mass, you feel the torso, the width of the torso as you're laying on the bed. I can feel it right here. And he eventually had leaned over to get her attention. So I felt his chest and everything at the width of his chest, like lean over
Holy
me,
Christ.
And there was no threat whatsoever. So I took her and I said, "Hey, check this out." I said, "I want to teach you something, right?"
Yeah.
And I had a thank you, Facebook user. Have a great show, Rich. I will. Do you want me to dance? That's a sign I'm having a great show. Thank you very much. So I took her hand. I said, "Check this out." And I just felt really comfortable with him. I ended up doing like a whole K2 session with him and asked the questions back and forth. It was my son's grandfather anyways. I figured that all out. And she sat up on her knee. She sat up on her knees. I said, "Check this out," because this has happened to me before. I already knew what was there. I took her hand. And I went right through it. And I said, you feel that electricity, that tingle going through? And it's like, really cold, kind of like what you said, but it's like almost like a Jello with a battery jumper in it. You know what I mean? It's real tingly like. And then I outlined his whole body with her hand, and she'll never forget it. That's one of her experiences that she gets to have in the paranormal world, saying, "Hey, Rich did this, and it was nuts." And then we talked to him for 45 minutes on a K2 meter. You know what I mean? So yeah, very much wide open. I've had points where I've had to shut myself off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too much energy coming at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can get scary. And I have a lot of kids.
So are you a medium as well?
Oh, it's a big word. That's a strong word, and it's something. No, I know, but I've been to mediumship classes, so I've wanted to understand more about certain things. Like my son is on my hat. My son died at birth, and just as a date, you can see that's his birthday. And as it approached, I kind of knew something was going to happen, but there really isn't anything you can say to your fiance. She's having a healthy pregnancy, and what do you say? You know, I had this premonition. You don't say that,
Right.
you know what I mean?
No.
So,
Yeah.
but I did confide in a friend of mine, so I could validate later if it happened, and of course it did. And then, so yeah, so there's those things that hit you. You know what I mean? That hit you differently, and it's very difficult. So when I guess I always call myself a sensitive. And the reason why I say I'm a sensitive, because I'm sensitive to a lot of things. You know what I mean? So I pick up on things more so than the common person. Could I be a full-blown medium? I'm sure we all could. We all kind of have that in us. It's just some is deeper than others. And mine's just up on the surface, you know, to the point where I have to ground myself, you know. So I've been closed for a long time. I think after Jack passed, I've been pretty closed with that area.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, as you could imagine, it's a little, you know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know if I want to see him. You know what I mean? I have no idea. I've been told by Maureen, I always say Hancock, but I think it's Hitchcock. No, it's Hancock. She's a world-renowned psychic.
Okay.
She picked me out of a crowd and told me that not to worry. My son was a cherub. And that's I guess what a cherub does is he works directly for God. He's God's voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So God will go to him and say, hey, go do these 10 things. Come back to me when you're done, type of thing.
No kidding.
You know, just to kind of basic, It was pretty cool to hear that. I was like, nice, I'm a dad of a cherub. That's right. You know it. That's right. Now you guys get it, right? Woohoo!
Absolutely. Wow. I mean, that is pretty amazing. And I mean, that's where you and I, Richie, are very similar, because I mean, I don't like to put labels on a lot of things, but yeah, I mean, I've been told that I'm an empath. Well, everybody's empathic, but intuitive empath. But I relate more to a sensitive, because it's like I feel things. I get, like, when something bad's about to happen, I'll feel it probably about 10 minutes before it'll actually happen. Or it'll come to me as a vision in my dream somewhere. Like, it's like, it doesn't make sense to me. And then it's almost like a deja vu type of moment where it's like, I felt this, I've seen this. Why is this so familiar type of thing?
Right. And it's funny because when you get in that area, it gets a little nervous. What's up, Andrew? Andrew, Candy, Sam. I saw Jenny Davis out there, a couple of Facebook users that knew me. Nice, good to see everybody here hanging out and supporting as we always do. But you know, premonitions are a very strong thing. It's kind of like the medium word compared to, you know what I mean, a sensitive.
Right.
Premonition and having a deja vu, the way you did it, is a similar type comparison. I mean, I would think that's how I feel, anyways. But yes, you can get them. And I talked to Dee Dee. I remember Dee Dee from the dreams. And I told her I've been closed. I don't remember dreams for like the last year. And I used to remember my dreams all the time. And I remember I used to have these bad energies coming at me. And for me, I don't know if it's like that for you, but I get that black and gray, fast paced. You know, it's like I'm tripping on acid back in 1987 again. I mean, you know, if that's okay to say here, I was just letting you know that I did a lot of acid. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it was it was like a dreams are like that. You know what I mean? You would imagine this psychedelic type, you know, effects, you know, and that's why mine were. And you wake up sweating sometimes, or you're ready to fight sometimes, or you wake up in that good mood sometimes, right? Yeah. And it kind of gives you all these different vibes because it comes off your dream, you know. So it can be scary sometimes. I've been getting into numbers a lot more, and not because of I've been looking for them. They've been thrown right in my front of my face. You know what I mean? Like with my son Jack, I kept seeing the number 666, and it's not the number of the beast. No, relax. It's a number for change. It's just a number for change. Yes. That's all it is. Yeah. Some drastic change coming your way, and to be prepared for it. And I kept seeing it everywhere, whether it was on a receipt or your license plates. We all do this, right? All this stuff. And I remember every time I saw that number, I would look up. There was a message. I'd be like, "Don't do that to me." And like I knew what it was. I knew what it was. I I did.
Yes.
It was connected to my son. So I knew there was a change coming, and I kept associating it with my son. So I was like, don't do that. You know what I mean? And it was in the most profound moments, whether it was talking about pregnancy, whether it was, whatever it might have been, but it all clipped together. And then when it happened, that's when it happened. But now I've been dealing with the 222 and the 444. Those are beautiful numbers. 666 is a great number too. I mean, it's a great number of change. It just depends on which direction the change is going to be. For me, I associate something negative to it, but the 444 and the 222 are absolutely awesome. I had a dream about my uncle 3 days. Can I read this? 3 days later, I have advanced ADD, everybody. Advanced ADD, meaning that I'm smarter than everybody. Okay, moving on. I had a dream about my uncle. 3 days later, found out he fell and busted his head. It's an interesting dream. Wow.
Oh my God.
Sam.
Yeah.
I hope is he okay? I mean, you don't just leave it there. Can she just leave it? You can't just leave it there, Sam. I mean, was he okay? Get back to me on that, Sam. How my people call your people? Your people call my people.
Jenny Davis needs to know, Richie, how do you have so much energy?
It's again, you're born with things, right? You're born with certain things. I have a 9-month-old upstairs, right? And that kid, he jumps off the couch. I mean, the kid is a gymnast. Okay, thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Sam, very much.
Amen.
Good stuff.
But he's wiry, he's fast, he's full of energy, he's constantly going, man. And I've had him leap right over my arm and like catch him right before he hits the floor. The kid is nuts. All right. And he's a peanut. Like my 4-year-old is 10 pounds when he was born, right? This kid's like 7, right? He's like 7, and he comes out and he's like, you hold him, he's like, and he's like, smacks you in the face and headbutts you. And I'm like, this kid's nuts. That's me. So I said to Jess, I'm automatically diagnosing this child with ADHD. All right. So just so you know. So I was one of the first Ritalin kids. Yeah, Ritalin was a medicine they used kind of when ADD was diagnosed, right? ADHD. And they would give it to you and then watch you go. So they'd go, yeah, drop this in his mouth. All right, everybody, let's see what happens. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it did. So they found out that it worked either opposite, where you knock the kid out, or it would make them more hyper, right? Yes. So, all right. So you get it, right? So, and that's what it was. It would adapt to your body or whatever. So it would affect you differently. Yeah. So I just believe I was born with it. I was always high energy. I was always the loud one. I play sports. I'm the freaking nut on the ice. I'm the freaking nut on the softball field. I've been playing softball for 33 years. I still go head first into every base. I dive in the second. I dive in the third. I come up with cuts. I'm bleeding. I got dirt in my mouth. And all the young guys love it. And it fires your team up. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, So yeah. So I think it's just part of who I am, really.
So Richie, speaking of part of who you are, and yes, your energy is amazing. I'm dubbing you in my head. You are the Joe Rogan of the paranormal, sir. I appreciate you so much right now. This is great.
Thank you.
That's who you are now, brother. I'm telling you. Anyways, in my head, and that's a huge compliment for sure.
Thank you. It absolutely is.
Bigfoot. Let's go there. So now, where do we start? I mean, with you and Bigfoot, 10 years, you're going on 10 years as a Bigfoot enthusiast. So you've seen a thing or two. You've probably experienced a thing or two, to say the least. I had a chance to peruse through your YouTube channel real quick. So I was looking at a couple things. Something that was really interesting to me. You're taking fans out. For Bigfooting.
Yeah, pretty crazy, right?
That's I love it. Crazy. That's not the right word. I think that's fantastic.
Thank you.
So you're doing something not only for yourself, but I mean, you're allowing others inside who Richie B is. You know what I mean? And letting them enjoy and experience something like that. It's like taking someone to a haunted house. I don't see it as any different. I just think it's great to get other people involved, get community together, because that's what it's about, right? Where we're not sitting there like we're at work saying, hey, do you like Bigfoot? And people are like, oh my God, here's that freak Michael John again. Right. We get to talk and no one's looking down their nose at each other. We share our passion and it's a safe space. I hate to use that word, but I don't know any other term to put it, but you get what I mean. There's a camaraderie there. So I love that you do that. So what gave you the idea to even do that? And have hey, I'm going to have a fan come out. Do you have a contest? Like, how does that even start?
It starts with me being absolutely out of my mind. And, well, there's Bobby Lee Hubbard right there. That's my producer. So what happens with me, Michael John, is I envision something. I throw it up, and Bobby Lee has great ideas too. I'm just saying. And then I say,
do,
hey, I want to do this, and yeah. Love you, Bobby Lee. She's away on business, but good to see you. She's magic, man. She's pure magic. She's a gift. I'm telling you. So yeah. So I just sit there and I have these. I've always been a business owner. Always been an entrepreneur. I don't like working for anybody. I think the last person I worked for, and it ended the way I wanted it to. But anyways, we'll move on. It's just not who I am. I'm a free bird type person. And I said to her, I'm talking to everybody, and I said, hey, let's stop bringing people into our studio. She's like, what do you mean? I said, I want them on the show. Can we do something like that? So she said, and so she creates this whole Richie B fan page that you can go on. She shoots a link to. You both get on the messenger that's in the fan page because she's not friends with everybody, right? Nor am I. And then we could send you a link, and you could sit here like I'm sitting here with you guys. So we've done that like 3 or 4 times. So then I'm sitting there going, there's a guy that's kept coming on my show. And he's talking. He's really interested. He's throwing out stuff. And I've known him for 20-something years of playing softball. But we never really hung out. And I'm not a drink. I've been clean and sober since 97. So it's and he's not either, really. But I just didn't hang out extra time at the softball field because of that, really, But I've always loved the dude. Always respectful, cool-ass dude. Well, it turns out it's Wojo. So he kept doing that. And I said, hey, I'm going to pick a fan because I was going out to Western Mass, and my fiance was coming with me on her first Bigfoot adventure. And Bobby Lee came down with COVID. Bobby Lee was getting her son and my son are like best friends. So all the kids were going over there. And I'm like, what do I do now? Right. So I'm like, I'm going to take a fan Bigfoot. And I've been wanting to do this little thing for a while. Why not call him? Because I partially know him. I won't get stabbed and murdered in the woods. And he jumped in, and man, look at it. He loves it. So I believe in educating everybody. I want to educate. I want you to respect this field. I want you to respect what we do. I want you, and if we find them, I want you to respect the creature. Obviously it would be an endangered species. You know what I mean? So yeah, right, exactly. But don't just look at the 2 trees like I talked to you a bit earlier about the guy, with the X and the 100 trees and all. Ridiculing people who are out there with boots on the ground or in cold buildings with EVP recorders that they paid for, and pardon me if I may, and you're shitting on them. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. So I want to get people involved, right? So I was like, let's invite a fan. So I got a few other fans on my mind that I'm going to start sending those messages to, like, you're next, bro. So yeah, so thank you for noticing that. It's something that I love and kind of dreamed up myself and had a nice vision of it, and it's come to fruition. Now, Mojo's like a teammate. What? That guy? Oh, yeah, you
can invite that guy out anytime. He'll be on your doorstep before you even say, "Hey, do you?"
Well, that's beautiful. So the people that don't know, my property is in a town, and in what's called it's in an area of Massachusetts that is called the Bridgewater Triangle. If you don't know about it, you can look it up. There's documentaries about it. There's all kinds of books written about it. There's all kinds of folklore and anything from a pukwudgie to ghosts, which I will be out on Friday with exploring with Phil, by the way, in the middle of the Bridgewater Triangle. So, feel free to check me out. Okay, great, thanks. And then Bigfoot, lights in the night, what do they call them? Mystery lights or ghost lights, wisps. So it has all kinds of things, and it comes, they say, from what's called this Native American war called the King Philip's War. Ooh. And King Philip got in a fight with the colonists. The people that think that they discovered North America but didn't. Remember we went over that? Yeah. So he didn't like them claiming that either, wanted to wipe them out. So they ended up getting a big war that went from where I am all the way up to southern Vermont, Rhode Island. Like, this war was all over the place. They were scattered little troops, little platoon squads, whatever. But yeah, so they believe a lot of it has to do with the Native Americans and what they've cursed the land. So I have a place in front of that. You want me to jump into that Bigfoot one? I was just thinking.
Absolutely. Please.
That's what you asked. That's what you. All right. Yeah. So I was like, what? I went like this. What was the question? And did I take my medication today?
That's old age, brother. It's old age.
No,
Okay.
no, it ain't. I didn't take my meds, Michael. That's all it is. Okay.
Damn it! I didn't take my meds. Okay.
I am not old. I am not deteriorating, and rigor mortis is way far away from me. So anyway, so I have a house since 2002. Hello, Kaylee. If I may take over and say hello to Kaylee.
Hello,
Kaylee.
Hello,
Russell's
Kaylee.
high sign.
There we go.
I like that. That's good. I got to remember this. All right, I'll do it like. So I own 3 acres in the middle of this, death-defying triangle. I mean, it makes sense if you're me. If you know who I am, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you're in haunted land. Bigfoot lives it. Yeah, that makes sense. But that's just how my life goes, right? Andrew, my man, what a supporter that dude, huh?
Right on.
So I'm out in the yard one day. I have 3 acres of land. It abuts 94 acres of conservation. 1.1 miles from my house is a major river. And I'm out there one day, and I'm hearing walking around, and I'm like, so there's a street goes this way, and a street goes this way. So basically, it bottlenecks. So you can't get to this area without going through someone's yard, but you can get to this area for miles away, crossing a river, right? And 94 acres to live in, right? So I kept hearing these noises, and it's like somebody was out there working in a factory. I'm hearing breaking of trees and crunching and but it's way off in the distance. It wasn't like it was like right there,
Yeah. And
I remember being in the yard working, and I remember something like landing next to me, like something fell. So I'm like, oh, acorns, and I'm like, oh, it's June. That's weird, and that type of thing starts happening. Eventually I get hit with one straight on, and then I'm like, yeah, that didn't fall. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't fall like that, right? So that was one of the things that right. Maybe I don't know. We're back to that 80s conversation that we won't bring up again because everybody frowned. That was the acid one. So.
Acid.
Just for a reminder. So that started happening. So I had a camper out back. Yep. And I share the property now with my first wife, and I would still have my business kind of run out of there. So I'd go in there, I had my PS3, I'd play video games. And I remember coming out of there, and I'd hear crunch out in the woods, like a big crunch. And I'd, go by the side door, and she'd be outside. This is at nighttime, and I'd say, hey, something big living out back. She's like, oh yeah, it's just a fisher cat. I'm like, no, something big, not a fisher cat. So then it happens again. Oh yeah, it's probably just a deer. I think she was just in denial because I know she heard things. And then one day I'm out there working, and I'm cleaning up the yard. I got my work pen and stuff like that, getting all my work stuff ready for the week. It's like 2 PM, dead summer. And I hear, and this is fairly newer, but I was kind of into it a little bit before. When I say 10 years, the first couple of years were just kind of fiddling around.
Okay.
I went out there with my kids in the woods because of the things I heard. I was like, yeah, let's go get the monsters, guys. And they dressed up as superheroes or whatever. And we had bats. And I'm like, bringing my littles to their death. Come on, guys, but I didn't know, you know what I mean? So we have this game trail, and I'm walking along this game trail, and I come up, and there's these 2 trees like this, and they're coming out of a big mound of moss. And they're birches. And across is this branch laying here perfectly parallel. And I look up, and there's all these other trees in the way. And I remember thinking, well, how does that fall all the way from wherever and not hit any of those branches and land here where I could put a level on it and have it be perfectly level with the ground?
Yes.
And then as I'm thinking this to myself, I start approaching it from a different angle, and I look up, and it has a couple of branches that break off, and it's actually wrapped around the tree. And I froze.
Yeah.
Wow.
And people that don't believe in structures and all that, that's fine. That's their thing. I leave every aspect of any kind of research open. And when I looked at this, my common sense, non-Bigfooter brain said something with thumbs had to put that up there.
Right.
Something with thumbs had to, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Sound like a woman crying. There is something called, Sam, the baby crying videos. A lot of them from a gentleman called, well, not from him, but for a place that he goes, Alex Petikoff. He's out of New Hampshire. He's an amazing, talented guy. He has Small Town Monsters and Beyond the Trail with Seth Breedlove. And his documentaries are boots on the ground, and they talk about the sound of babies crying in the woods. So
heard about that.
Yeah, pretty kick-ass stuff. So yeah, he's. I like boots on the ground documentaries. I'm not big on the production. So, so that was one of my first experiences.
Yes.
But the day I was working in the yard and really kind of started putting things over the top, is when I heard one loud. It was a solid oak tree, right? I know that now, but then you knew it was a solid tree, and you knew it was one pull. You knew it was one pull. You didn't hear creaking or see trees rocking or anything. You didn't see any of that. It was just all of a sudden. I remember hearing it because I was raking, had music going. I could still hear way out the little footfall out there in the woods, little scuffling. And I didn't think much. I'm just going about my business. And then that tree snaps. And I went.
Yeah. They're like,
hello. So I remember yelling out to the woods, and I went, "Not today! I'm finally getting stuff done." Oh yeah, the neighbors think I'm bonkers because I always say hello, and I always say goodbye to the woods. I don't care.
Absolutely,
much respect, right? So that's when that happened.
Yes,
I grabbed my phone. I went to the corner of my fence, and I held up my phone, and I said, "Come on, where you at?" I wanted to know, man. I was getting all these noises. I was getting about time. He started to show himself to me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going like this, and then all of a sudden, on my phone, you hear, or at me, I recorded on my phone, you hear.
Oh wow!
Yes.
So I jump back because I'm like, I can't see nothing. I can't see
it. Candace. Yep.
I can't see it. So I'm freaked out as a man. You're like, yeah. But then all of a sudden you're like, I can't see it though. So at first I was like, hey, this is my land. You're going to respect it. I'll respect your land. I'm talking, here I go talking in the woods. We're making an agreement. He's going to sign right here. It's up in 1990. Like I'm making a contract with whatever.
Yeah.
And then it hits me how I need to make space between he and I, or whatever this is, and I.
Yes.
Or she. Relax, everybody. And so I back down. I back up like 3/4 of an acre towards the street.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm, when you have that moment in paranormal, in the paranormal world where something does this to you, where it rocks your DNA, and you have to rethink your life. I backed up, I put my hands on my knees, and I remember sitting there going, "What did I just hear?" So all those years, it all started coming to me. All the years of hearing the breaking and the crunching and the feet and the this and the that and the tree, everything. All it's like that. It's like a show, a movie, right? And it's all, oh my God, you start really going through it. Like 1,000 incidences are flying through my head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the dude that was doing it. There's something out there as a being with a human guttural sound that I can now put with those feet, the feet and the weird sounds that I could almost explain, now has a voice.
Yep.
And I call my buddy in South Carolina. He's a preacher. And I was like, bro, I got to send you a video, man. And I don't know what this is. And I sent it to him, and 10 minutes later, he calls me back. He goes, oh my God, dude. And it was much louder in person than it was, with the technology kind of muffling it.
Sure.
But ever since then, I've had way more instances where, I've had things breaking. I've been flanked twice. Flanked. So flanked.
What does that mean?
So after this started happening, I did start watching, and this is why the production shows are great, especially for the novice. You're going to learn a lot of techniques and things and equipment and stuff. You can learn from everything, good and bad, what to do and what not to do. So don't shut everything out. I'm just kind of bored with them at this point because I've watched thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of videos and documentaries and shows, And then at 6 years in, I'm like, oh my God, I'm a researcher. Because I'm researching. You know what I mean? That's what I'm doing. So anyway, are you guys still here?
Yeah, we're along for the ride, Richie. Don't worry, buddy. You got us hook, line, and sinker. But I do want to bring these up because you did bring us some pretty amazing things.
There's a nice tree break.
So you were talking about structures and tree breaking. So explain a little bit about this picture here, and then we'll go through the slide a little bit. The one that you sent you posted in the show here.
So this here is a question mark. So I take pictures out of question marks, and the reason why I do is because people could say snow load and wind and snap and bang, and you get this force. But I always bring up to everybody, well, look at the fibers and how they have been abruptly, all the molecules in that tree have been abruptly removed. So if you look at it like that, you can see that whatever it was, and you have to know your area. I'm not in the the great Ozarks or anything. I'm in the southeastern Massachusetts corridor. You're talking about a tree that has maybe 15 to 20 branches on it that can only hold so much snow. You're talking about a tree that's in between a bunch of other trees. That why would it pick on this particular tree?
Yes.
You're like, oh, look at that, get that guy. You know what I mean? It's just so this is what I do. This is to show people what abruptness looks like. So when you abruptly break something with one pull, that's what it looks like. That's not a rock back and forth.
Okay, now Rich, is that in a specific direction now? Is again for for people watching the replay, and then KGRA digital, which is just radio, so they can hear it, and when they hear you describing it, just get a better idea. Now, is this tree specifically bent in a specific direction for a reason? I mean, the tree it's clearly not dead. It still looks like it's got some life in that area fresh, of the trunk, right?
Right. Oh no, that's very fresh. And a lot of times, and a lot of people, so we had a discussion last night on my show, and it's either you're in or you're out on this thing. There is no in between. There's a hard no or a hard yes. There is not even a lighter gray, darker gray, any kind of gray in the middle. That is it. And we will stand at the gates and fight each other. It's crazy. And I just want to have an open mind and have a research. So a lot of these structures are believed to point to certain things. They're believed to point to, water. Now, mind you, again, the Native Americans did this stuff. They didn't abruptly break shit, but they broke stuff when they were small. And as they grew, they kept breaking it. So it would point in a certain direction.
Right.
So you'll see bends and twists and things like that are like 80 years old. And they look like such a big twist, but they were actually maybe spun when they were smaller.
Oh, wow.
So, and it would point to maybe a field of deer or water or creek or an area to bed down for the night. I have since been finding huts around. That's one of the things that we've been discovering and sending them out to survivalists. And Alex Petticoff's one of the guys I named. He's a hard no structure guy. But when I sent him these huts, he goes, I don't have any idea, but humans do weird things. So that's fine. I respect him for that. You know what I mean? Sure. The stuff that I found, it looks like you had to boil the trunk in order to make it bend the way these trees bend. It's nuts. It's crazy. Right. So yeah.
All right.
Paranormal. Sorry, she's asking, have you had any previous experiences with Bigfoot before you moved to the Bridgewater area?
None that I can remember, none that was significant. And I've thought of that myself. You know what I mean? That was, pretty crazy going, where the hell? And I lived on 17 acres in a wooded area. And maybe as a kid, I heard things and just kind of brushed it off as a fisher cat or a deer. But no, it didn't open it up to me until I realized I learned about Sasquatch from a structure. So maybe that's why I love them so much. So yeah, this is a twist, and what I believe is an ancient twist. I believe this twist is probably maybe 100 years old. And people say, why isn't the tree bigger? Well, because it's been stunted. Its growth has been stunted, but they tend to keep them alive so they continuously do their job.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So that's what I have found. This is the oldest one I found. And you can tell how old it is because you look around at all the trees, and this one is gray and dark and almost looks, and it's loaded with peat moss. And it's weird because it stands out.
So, Rich, these photos you're showing, and thank you so much for sharing these with us and our viewers right now. Let me ask you this. If someone, again, just listening to the show, they want to access, what's he talking about? I want to see these photos. Where can they find them?
You can go on Banter with Richie B and check out my YouTube page and like and subscribe because I'm always out. I was out today. I actually finally got to get my fiance to go out today for her first Bigfooting experience. I was super stoked to have her out there. We needed to get her out. Like I said, we have a 9-month old. She needed to get out here, away from everything. Look at that, Courtney. Man,
on the job.
Badass right there. We got some peeps in this stuff. She had a blast, Sam, and we just got out and we just enjoyed each other. We enjoyed Mother Nature. She went around and she's a natural. She was picking apart these structures that I have found and come home talking about. And she was like, "Oh, that's the one you told me about." And she's like picking it up. Absolutely amazing. And listen, I tell everybody, if you just have an open mind and go out into the wilderness and just get out there and start looking at these oddities and then see if you can explain them away. And if not, you've had a great day hiking. You're not in the damn house. You're not in front of a screen. You don't have a phone in your face, right? You're out there. Always prepare for survival. I don't care if you're going down the street where there's a cul-de-sac in a neighborhood. Make sure you have granolas and all that stuff in the back, flashlights, everything. Prepare for survival, always. But yeah, here's another one. So you see these two? So very similar, right? But totally different places and totally different years old.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Look at the one on the left. You can see follow the cracks of the tree and see how many times that thing's been spun. That's almost a good 180, if not more. I'm being polite. Oh, there's my boy. What's up, my man? Thanks for stopping by, bro. But yeah, if you could see that little twist, I'm on information at play, jumping on quick to share links. Well, thank you, Courtney. You're an amazing person, and I know all of us here appreciate you and everybody on the side too. You're kicking ass.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to show the similarities in the trees, the different locations, but yet they have the same type of mentality, we'll call it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, and these are famous X's. So this one isn't the 40-foot X. That's my boy Wojo right there. Yeah, so this is a perfect X, and some of these pictures, if you really zoom in on them, the tops are what are amazing. Oh, thank you, Sam. They're always tied in. They're always tied in. And I don't care what anybody says. If you got 100 trees on the ground and these two are standing up making an X, you might want to ask yourself a few questions. Well, when I said that to the gentleman, by the way, that day, he shut off his comments so he could talk crap about me, but I couldn't say anything. And I got to say it to you, sir, if you're listening out there, bravo, sir. Well played. Well played. You're still an ignorant ass, but that was well played. I just want you to know that, okay? But no, I don't hold any resentments. What are you talking about? So yeah, the X is a big deal, bro. This is something that's been around since the dawn of Bigfoot.
So cool.
I got a picture of me and my fiance and the one in my backyard.
And the size of it.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge, dude.
Jesus.
And look at
what made that.
If you can enlarge your screen, I know the audience can't see it, but you guys can. If you enlarge your screen and look at the tops of these things and say, how the hell is that land there? There's no way. Oh, look. Oh, all right, here we go. So listen, this is it. First of all, what's up, my boy Wojo?
Wojo's in the house. We've heard about you, brother.
Yeah, there's my boy Wojo, man. There's
nice.
bring a fan Bigfooting, and he never goes home. Love you, bro. We were out today. I was out today with Wojo, and so this is with Wojo and my team out in Western Mass, Patty and Walter Burke. This is out their area where they do the recordings, and they leave recorders out overnight, and then they pick them up after a week or so, and then they listen to them and hear the evidence. And there's so many things you can do. You can hear all these crazy breaks and stuff, but you can actually pick up on migration tendencies. You can pick up on what animals live in the woods, et cetera, right? There's so much to learn. Research! Sorry, every once in a while I got to yell that out. So we come up upon this little site with 5, what we finally figured out were huts. We call them huts. And one I did a whole video on. I walked in. It was like 11 feet tall. You go in and there's a branch as you enter, and the branch is twisted all the way around. Twists are the thing. So when we do this stuff, we send these off to experts. We have people, man. Believe it or not, it's crazy how much connections we got. It's crazy. The Tim and Eric Vogel, they live out in Western Mass on the New York line. 1,300 acres. He's Tim's in charge of as a park ranger. Him and his brother own a wildlife guide business. They're out in the woods all the time. Tim has had multiple sightings, including what he believes it was an albino one, a white one.
Oh shit!
Crazy, right? So then you got Dave McCullough. Dave McCullough is the co-founder, of Squatchachusetts. He's been on Tim Vogel and all these guys have been on the History Channel, Discovery Channel, Travel Channel. People go to them to ask them questions. Mike Trainer. My buddy, he's out of Rhode Island area. Yeah. He's another one. He's in the biology. You know what I mean? He's a guy that he'll do castings and stuff. And all these guys take reports for the BFRO as well. Mike does it freelance, but the other guys do, and then of course,
organization. Yeah,
right. And then Alex Petikoff up in New Hampshire. I've sent these pictures to all of them. So it isn't like, hey, this is what we got, a couple of dudes and, a couple of friends, and we're just chilling. No, we want to know answers, things that we have not seen. Put away your egos and get your damn answers.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. So I sent this out. Tim Vogel, like he says, he has a great concept. I've been talking about it. Trees lean in, snow grabs it, and early, storms, and they can kind of hold them down and put a little bend to them.
Sure. Okay.
But he looked at that little hut there and went, well, that's interesting. Do you know what I'm saying? So that was 8 feet long, 5 or 6 feet deep. So, and there was 5. Okay. 8 feet long and about 5 or 6 feet. I laid in it, man. There wasn't one leaf on me when I got up. It was all jam packed down. It was kick ass. So go back one slide. I know are we doing a clock thing at 9 o'clock? Is that what's happening?
Yeah. We got about 5 minutes, but no worries. We're not.
All right, don't make my fans start yelling 5 more minutes. All right, after we get to 9 o'clock, you know what I mean? They'll do that. They'll blow up your shit. Don't mess with me. So this one's okay. So listen, if you want to know more about these huts, man, this hut is going to be a feature on a lot of things I do on my YouTube page. Go over to the Dreamcatcher, and if you want to shut me up after the Dreamcatcher, I will allow for that. Go ahead.
Do it, Sam. Zach's already doing it.
So this is the Dreamcatcher. And for obvious reasons, the Dreamcatcher is one of the first major structures I ever found with an old investigative friend of mine. This is about a 30-foot oak that was completely bent all the way. Shut up, Ronald. That's my boy in Florida. Bent all the way over. See, Sam will come after you guys. All right. and then put into this design.
Yeah.
No.
It's stunning. This one's a little bit altered, to be honest with you. Not altered as far as the structure goes. I made it black and white. Everybody settled down. You know what I mean? But the natural picture is next. And here's the key. Here's the key to this. On the left is a field guide to Sasquatch structures by Christopher Noel out of New Hampshire or Vermont.
Jesus. So similar.
That is the cover.
Yeah.
Of his book.
Wow.
So with these structures, like this one particular,
yes,
what are they using it? What are they using it for?
Well, I mean, listen, we've had discussions from they're high on the spectrum till what the hell else they got to do in the friggin' woods. You know what I mean? I mean, that's one of I tell people that all the time. I'm like, what? They live in the woods 24/7, 365. They can't play Fortnite. Like, I'm gonna get off of you guys and go play Fortnite. They can't do that, right? So they're over here putting shit together. Yeah. And some of them have meaning, and some of them are, I'm a better artist than you. But the other problem is they destroy them. I looked for the Dreamcatcher. I couldn't find it for 2 years. It was gone. And me and Wojo found it. It's by the suspended tree, and it's that middle arch is snapped right down in the middle. It's gone.
Wow.
They broke it. Yeah, I was a little upset with them about that. Trust me, I let them know. Now, this is just like a weird stacking that I see every once in a while. It's just weird. This ain't Mother Nature. This isn't. Look at. Best way I heard it, somebody say it. One guy came on in my defense, and he called it the whirlwind. This isn't the magical whirlwind. Woo! Look at all the sticks flying and landing perfectly. Woo! Like that don't happen, man. There isn't magic. There isn't magic snow load. There isn't magic windfall. There's none of that. That thing is all busted up now. It's barely recognizable. Yes. Once you got a bunch of pics. Yep. Exactly right. And Ronald, we went back to that hut site today where we found today. The other day we found, or last week, there's like a hut closer to my property. There's an arch behind it, and in the middle of the arch and the hut is a stump with a break. And you look over here 12 feet, and there's the top of the other part of the stump, but it's like a 15-foot tall tree that they broke off, pulled out from between the hut and the arch, went around to the arch, and laid it on top of the arch. It's nuts. You need thumbs for this. This is not. This is the asterisk.
These photos are great. Thank you so much. In the description, again, it helps the listeners too, right? For those that don't get to see this. But again, these things you got to open. I'm sorry. No, my bad. I'll shut up in a second. But these are the things you just got to open your mind to. Yeah. You have to open your mind, man. I'm not saying I saw Bigfoot do this shit, man. Don't get me wrong. Listen up. Yeah.
I'm over here.
Yeah.
Eyes on me. You know what I mean? Like, listen to what I'm saying to you. When you're out there, just look, go through it, try to debunk it.
Yes.
Right? If you cannot debunk it, just like in the paranormal world, and you determine that there's meaning behind it, or you need these.
Yes.
So I call it the Fonzarelli factor. You got to have
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And I mean, it's fascinating, especially when you have books with very similar structures from people that have been out there doing the research for decades and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, definitely, it's like everything in the paranormal world. You have to approach it with your mind wide open. And you learn. I mean, nobody out here knows everything. Nobody is the expert. Nobody knows. But yeah, absolutely. Mind wide open. So Richie, the time is ticking. Your fans have asked for 5 more minutes. We're going to give you those 5 more minutes just because we love you, brother.
Woo! Me and Monkey Boy. Where is he? Ready? Check it out. Let's go. There you go, Michael John. Do it. That's what I'm trying to do. The wood.
I think I hurt myself just now.
It's okay, bro. It's okay. Breathe. it comes back at our age. Let it go. Ooh, nice. Oh, I appreciate that. And Ron is a guy that was a naysayer. Not a naysayer, but he didn't have a reason to believe yet. And I've showed him some things, and I had him on Facebook Live, and he said to me, dude, there's no way somebody had to move that and put it there. I mean, when you find a tree broken off its stump, and the tree's 10 feet away, leaning on another tree, and the wind didn't do that. It's just magical whirly wind.
Yeah, Mother Nature and the world is very unique at times, but yeah, just some things just don't add up.
Yeah, and that's it. And it's same with the paranormal world. There's things where you're out there and you're like, you have all those regular things that you've dealt with all these years in the paranormal world, but then there's these little things that have question, but they don't add up, right? And you put it together. You at least have to investigate what doesn't add up, and then say, hey, maybe I can find more of these, or maybe there's a pattern here, right?
Yeah.
And Wojo had his brother come out with us as well. He was out there one day. There was crazy stuff that was there. You know what I mean? He saw the remnants of the dream catcher that I was pretty pissed about. So me and Bigfoot had a little talk about that. We'll deal with that later.
Well, hopefully he'll put it back where it belongs, so this way here everybody will be happy.
No, he won't. Come on.
No, he won't.
But Richie B, before we let you go, this is your moment, brother. Talk about can we find Richie B? Where is he going to be? What is Richie B going to be up to?
I'm going to be out in the woods looking for Bigfoot, doing research. No, I'm just kidding. So listen, hey, if you want to find me, like I said, you go over to TikTok. I'm on TikTok, Banter with Richie B on TikTok, Banter with Richie B on Instagram. You can check out my shop at banterwithrichieb.com/shop. You can follow me on YouTube, like and subscribe. Hit the button. I keep yelling at you about that. Let's go. Giddy up. We have got a bunch of people. The numbers are crazy right now. They are climbing. We want to keep it climbing, man. Come on my show Tuesday nights at 7, man. I got a podcast about Bigfoot, right? You could be interactively part of my show. You might even end up out in the woods looking for Bigfoot with me, all right? And then Saturday nights is my Paranormal Ghost Show. This Saturday we have Russ Stiver back on because we basically had one last week and basically shit all over the interview with like 10 people coming in and out of it. I had everybody coming. I think Sarah, Rob, everybody was coming in and out of the interview because I love it. It was crazy and fun, but I have about 45 minutes of solid questions I got to ask that man. So he'll be on Saturday. Tuesday, it'll be Exploring with Phil Anderson. I will be out in the woods with him Friday morning in the Bridgewater Triangle, investigating with him. I don't think he's aware that I'm bringing the tree knocker, and I'm going to do a couple whoops out in the woods looking for Bigfoot. But I'll just surprise him with that shit. Maybe I'll sneak up on him, see if he's quick, you know? So that's generally where you're going to find me. But definitely go over to my YouTube and like and subscribe because that'll tell you everything about me, where I'm at, what I'm doing all the time. Thank you guys. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you guys. Michael John, absolute pleasure meeting you, bro. You coming on my show, right?
Yeah, run, send me a message and we'll talk. look at my schedule and all that. Work schedule's crazy all the time, but 100%, I'm down for that. Thank you for for even thinking of me on that.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
When I see co-hosts, I like to break them apart, piss them off, and then bring them on one by one. You know what I mean? Because then you get the truth out of them. You know what I'm saying? Then you get the yeah, really? Yeah. Why was he coming on your show first? I thought we were.
Richie, I just want to say it has been a great pleasure sitting here, filling our heads with full of knowledge. And it's always a great time hanging out with you, man. We look forward to having you back again. I look forward to being down the road and hopefully meeting you in person so we can sit back, relax, and have some great laughs. But I just want to say, before Michael John signs us all off here, thank you so much, brother. Thank you to everybody on the sides. It's been a great night. Catch Richie B on his podcast. Like I said, this man's got so much energy. We need to bottle it up and sell it. We can all be millionaires.
Thank you, everybody. Love you on the side. Woohoo! I love this
and
stuff.
Thank you to everybody from, of course, the TPV Nation. That's the creeps, the freaks, the weirdos that make up from day one to day now and beyond. We don't get to do, Dale and I don't get to do what we're doing right here, right now. And that is what we love. Talk to great guests like Richie B, the Joe Rogan of the paranormal. That's it. That's all. I'm telling you. Thank you so much, of course, to the Get Haunted podcast program. That's what's helping get our numbers up, getting us out there, getting us seen more. Thank you to YouTube, to Facebook, of course, KGRA Digital. That's every stream thing on the planet. Every stream thing. Good English, Michael. Anyways, you know what I'm saying. Oh, my God. Hashtag, I got to say it. Hashtag blessed, thankful, grateful, humble. We will see you all on the other side. But in the meantime, and in between time, happy hauntings.
Happy hauntings.